Hello, Mauri here from Thinkercharts, and this is our technical analysis for Monday, September 10th. Now, before I begin, Monday for us is kind of a value discovery day. It's a day where we usually don't trade right off the bat at the first movement in the market. We wait for the first consolidation. We do that because sort of the trend for the week will start getting defined, at a later moment in the middle of the week. So Monday is way too early for you to understand, and it doesn't necessarily inherit the same direction that comes from the previous week. So we want to be cautious. That doesn't mean that we want to be scared. We want to trade with confidence with our charts. We have our charts mapped. We know exactly where all our points of resistance and the points of sustain stand in the charts, where are our supply and demand zone, and we're going to get down to it in a second. Okay, so as every night we start on /ES. That is our chart for the S&P 500. Okay, and I start from the 4-hour chart. The 4-hour chart is basically will give us a macro view of where the chart stands. So for this week, I have highlighted a Fibonacci or some Fibonacci level from when this first impulse originated. Okay, where I set my zero to where we had the reversal last week. So this is going to highlight some very important levels that can be very good reference for our weeklies this week, and can be good references for our dailies also. Okay, you need to understand that if value will meet anywhere around 38.2 and 50%, okay, exactly between 2777 and 2733, those are basically our top level of sustain. Okay, it's very important that we understand that anything above the 0%, that is 291837, is really, there is no structure to the left. So it's something that if value will ever make it that high, we're gonna get into the grinding high again dynamic. Okay, which I really doubt, because we're really starting a consolidation to the downside. All right, so let's get down to it. As I was mentioning, we have a consolidation to the downside, so we already have a downtrend starting. Okay, and this is our lower lows, and those are our lower highs. Okay, the value is forming, for which we need to understand now where the value is going to go. Is it going to continue grinding lower? And this is a very every night I also highlight these dashed line are basically some test levels. Okay, they're basically trend line, but I like to call them test levels, because if a breakout will come down from this level, we're sort of seeing a reversal from the big picture. So for example, here we're coming up from a downtrend. We have a first consolidation to the downside. Okay, and this can be a higher low on a long term. Okay, this is a higher low. Okay, higher high, higher low. That's why it's so important to see a macro level, okay, and see a macro view of where the value stands. So this particular line does show us if there is going to be a breakdown to the downside. So if value will break down from this other test level, is a possibility the value will try to go back into a higher dynamic. That's why Monday is a price discovery day. Okay, we don't know, value, anything can happen. Value can tank down or tank up. Now there are more than rumors. There are confirmed statements that the Feds might wanting this consolidation by hiking the interest rate. If that happens, we're definitely going to know more about it next week. Stay away from fundamental. Okay, wait until the market makes the movement on the fundamental, and then you will capitalize on the first consolidation from the movement. Okay, all right, so now let's go and move back into what I call it the micro view. Okay, and the micro view show us where value is right now. Okay, so equilibrium is right around set. Okay, and now we're gonna study we're gonna look for opportunities tomorrow. So every night we do our trade plan so that we don't have to act impulsively. We can just like follow what we have studied the day before, and tomorrow we're just going to execute our trades as they're going to come into play. Okay, so what are we going to do if value is going to make it to the upside? What are we going to do if the value is going to tank down to the downside? So if value is going to make it to the upside, I definitely see a very good structure on the upside. Okay, we have these supply zone sitting here between plus 0.5 and Wednesday POC. So it really depends on how what is the level of volatility that spikes tomorrow morning. Definitely, if you mix it all the way up here, I will be definitely, I'm sorry, looking for weakness. And if weakness will come into play, hold on a second, I have to, there you go. Okay, if weakness will come into play, and value will get stuck around here, and then there'll be a run for the downside again on a lower high below plus 0.5, I will definitely consider enter a trade. And there's several ways how you can enter a trade. Okay, in the course I explain it. You can run a spread down, or you can sit close to set, okay, or value area I, depends on your preferences, whatever it is that you want to consider the TP. And you can put a binary for around like $20 around here. So when the value is going to come back here, as soon as it hits 50, you capitalize that $30 per contract. Okay, and you will get, this is you can get an ATM spread and run it down, or you can get a binary out of the money and capitalize. Follow the course if you want to get more details about that. It's definitely going to help you understand what are the techniques to capitalize on this divergence movement. Okay, all right. If you're gonna go any higher than Wednesday POC, there is another very good zone here. Let me zoom out. Okay, too much. There we go. Definitely, this is a really good area. As we can see, there is this very large supply sitting on Tuesday POC and plus 0.1. So if value will just like and always like remember about timing. Okay, we need to see at what time. If this is at 9 o'clock, again, tomorrow's a price discovery day. We do not trade right off the bat. At least I don't. Okay, I will wait for this to happen around 11 o'clock because at 11 a.m. is where most of the stock reverse. Okay, there is like a notes in the course. It's called carrot trade. Okay, follow the course if you have any questions in regards to this technique. Okay, so I will be looking for a 11 o'clock possible reversal, all right, on a Monday, and that will be the same thing as a plus 0.5. If I see weakness, I will get in on a lower high past right underneath plus 1 deviation level, and this definitely would be my great opportunity. I would love to see value make it that, even though I really think it's not going to. Okay, I think the best chances we have is to go right below this 2895. Okay, all right, so all this thing considering, let's go and see what are we going to do if value is going to make it to the low, to the downside. Okay, so as you guys can see, there is this demand zone that is really far away. Okay, and it's too far away for you to consider as a solid support level. Okay, so definitely negative 0.5 is not my favorite level for tomorrow. We'll definitely be sitting patient, especially if he hits it early in the morning. I'm not gonna fall for it. I'm just gonna wait for it. I'm gonna wait until it goes all the way down to -1. Also, if he goes down to -1, we need to be very cautious. It's not caused by any fundamentals, that there is no any news release, because as you guys can see, really the biggest support we're gonna get if there is a slippage tomorrow, okay, it will be around this 283. I can't read the number. 2831.2. Okay, that is equivalent to the Fibonacci level. All right, so if you will go down around 9 o'clock here, definitely wait. Don't enter on a -1 just because it hit the mark and you're so excited you want to make your trade, but still wait. Okay, just wait for value, possibly maybe can run up even lower, okay, down to this Fibonacci level that is possibly coinciding with a -2 deviation level. All right, and then once you're going to start seeing some volume spiking back, and you start seeing value showing some support, I will definitely either do out of the money all the way to -1 deviation. Okay, this would be a good TP level for me for a quick consolidation to the upside. Okay, don't try to do out of the money all the way down to -0.5 or set, because if there is a strong movement to the downside, nothing guarantees that value is going to travel that further up again. Okay, it might just do a small move to the upside and then drop down again. Okay, so this is all for ES for tomorrow. All the other indexes basically follow uh, the same dynamics. Okay, we have NQ, that is Nasdaq, also at a cross point. We have to see and wait where is gonna go tomorrow. Okay, definitely for NQ, I see this very strong level, plus 0.5 deviation level, aligning with value area I, which it can be an excitement level. Also, two test levels here, that where you see this cross, where we need to see where value is going to want to go. Right now, there's this small consolidation. It's not that small anymore. It's kind of run is team down. So you see it's got 1 step, 2 step, 3 step, 3 days of consolidating to the downside. It is a possibility that it's going to bounce back also, because the health of the stock is not bad. The only thing lingering is really these this interest rate from the Feds. Okay, so if value is going to make it to the upside, definitely Wednesday POC and plus 0.1 deviation is a very good entry point for me to run a quick sell, and there will be no obstacle. It will be a very clean run down to plus 5. I won't be surprised if value was going to do a quick run to plus 1 in the middle of the night. You'll have the first bounce down to 5 o'clock, and maybe like at 9 o'clock and 11 o'clock you have multiple entries around those two levels. So definitely those two levels are the one that capture uh, my attention the most. Again, I don't wanna trade anything on the first impulse. So if the first movement happens 5 o'clock in the morning, definitely see patient and wait for the second movement. Okay, I will not buy plus 0.5 deviation in a state of overbought. So I will definitely wait until values will pop right up. Okay, and again, 9 o'clock might not be also a good entry for me. Definitely 11 o'clock tomorrow should be your where you should time your entries. And it's okay, no, so in a regular day, on a Wednesday, on a Thursday, it's okay to have 3 entries. One at 3 a.m., one at 5 a.m., one at 9 a.m., and one at 9:11. So in this particular you got five different intraday time movements that you can capitalize on. But on a Monday, you just want to limit it. Just take one trade, maybe like time intraday time schedule for tomorrow will be more than enough. Okay, for you to capture some profit, and at the same time not lose anything. Okay, and then on Tuesday, once you're gonna have a very much well defined level, then you can consider enter some trades. Now, another things that I like to do on Monday is at the end of the day, right before market close, once I identify the movement, and if you're not capable of, wait, okay, I'm not just saying to trade at the end of the day like I do. I'm just like, listen to this piece of advice, and then after you train with us for a while and you learn, then you can consider doing that. What I like to do on Monday in the afternoon is set my weeklies. Okay, after I understand or have a hint where the market is going to go in the following days. If I am, for example, if I think the value broke off this particular testing level and now is traveling to the upside again, okay, to go back to the grinding eye level, I might consider put a weekly on a lower eye, okay, on a lower low. I'm sorry, on a higher low, and enter my weeklies, hoping something cheap. When you do something long term, you don't want to put like anything at the money or in the money. You want to be out of the money, okay, something very cheap, okay, that can have a really high reward if by the end of the week. So for example, if value is going to pass one deviation and there is basically a big movement to the upside, okay, I can decide to enter a weekly on a lower on a higher low for me to hope. For example, I would take as a target level this Monday POC. All right, thinking about this is okay, this is past this level. I think is going to do a full-on retracement, and then I'm going to do out of the money to Monday POC, and I will take this level and I will buy it as cheap as possible. So for example, if let's say it will be anything between $10 and $20, I will consider maybe buy 4 or 5 of them, okay. And then what that means is that by the end of the week, that trade can render me up to $800 if value will travel that way. And if I have made a mistake, a miscalculation, and value will tank all the way back again, I would just have lost $200. So that's a big risk reward ratio, and it's a good risk to take, all things considering, because you also have all week, okay, to monitor the trade, and you can cut it off. You don't have to wait until it's zero for you to lose all $200. Maybe you lose $60 or $80, but it's important that you enter early in the week so that your potential to render the trade are extremely increased. Okay. All right. So to the upside, we have identified. I have identified on Nasdaq definitely this area on +1, very good area for me to consider if value around 11 o'clock is going to have some weakness, and then render my trade all the way to the plus 0.5 deviation level. This will be my TP level. Okay. Now, if it travels to the downside, you guys can see very similar configuration as ES. Okay. There is no much structure past negative 0.5 deviation. So if it does tank all the way down, just sit impatient, okay, and wait for value. Really, the next support level is here. The really like strong support level is here around 38.2% retracement level. That is 716655. Okay, so there is really not a valuable structure that is recent in time for you to consider where value is going to stop. So you gotta wait until the value does make stop. Okay, eventually you're gonna find some structure. This negative 1 deviation was a very consolidated level. There were like different touches all through last week on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, until then value departed. That was like almost 2 weeks ago. So if you'll go back, maybe negative 0.1 deviation is gonna show some support. Definitely negative 0.5 is very weak. Okay, and the space between negative 0.1 minus negative 0.2 and the Fibonacci level also, it's something that must be considered, but definitely not too appealing for me if value is going to make it anyway anywhere lower than negative 1, especially late in the days, like around 12 or 1 o'clock. Okay, all right. So for all the other indexes, very similar configuration. Okay, on YM, so this is the Wall Street 30 on Nadex. You have same thing, testing level on the upside and downside, structure on the upside and some structure on the downside. Um, Definitely on negative zero point 0.1. Also, there is some demand. Okay, you have a good demand also sitting on negative zero point 0.5 deviation. So definitely, if it's going to make it down to negative zero point 0.5 deviation, there's also this testing level. It will be definitely very interesting to see if any support is offered by this level, and if it's proven resistant, definitely get your TP opportunity. This will be a much more expensive trade compared to the other two indexes, because you have the value area box and Tuesday POC sitting right in the middle of the two levels. So if value is going to make it to the downside past here, your movement to the upside from negative zero point 0.5 will be blocked by this level, and definitely would be risky to wait and to run it all the way to set. So definitely we need to be considering also that. So that makes that, for that particular reason, the movement to the downside on YM is not going to be my favorite for tomorrow. Now, if value is going to make it to the upside and it's going to hit plus 0.5 deviation level, make it all across this Monday POC into the POC, I still don't think this is my favorite level for tomorrow, especially in the early morning. Definitely wait at 11 o'clock if I'm thinking about selling this level. There is some supply sitting around this level. Again, if there is a runs of the boost for the upside, my favorite level would be plus 0.1 deviation, but I won't just enter blindly and early in the morning. I will wait for a carry trade around 11 o'clock when I start seeing the volume and everything is regulated for a rebound. Okay, I won't just like enter it blindly. All right, so this is all for YM. Let's go quickly into RTY, that is the Russell 2000 index for Nadex. Okay, very similar configuration. What we have here that I like to highlight is that the negative 0.5 deviation level and value area low are coinciding, or almost coinciding. So it's really a good level to consider if value is going to run to the downside. If it goes anywhere lower than that, there is really no structure to the left. Definitely I will pass tomorrow for anything on RTY around this level. Definitely there is also 38.2 right below it. Okay, this is like almost like a negative 1.5 deviation level. So definitely if it runs lower than that, I will consider a buy around the area, and I will not set, for example, if I would do out of the money, I will not get my TP all the way to negative 0.5 deviation. I will look something in between, level in between, because I know that in those particular markets, when you have fundamentals pushing down, especially when you already have a little bit of momentum building up on a downtrend, it can be very vicious and the movement can be very, very fast, rapid. So you might think, oh, okay, it's making it all the way back up, and then get a big hammer push down, and go even pass down low, trying to reach that 50% retracement level. So be very cautious. Remember to time your entries correctly, and most importantly, always keep an eye on volume. Okay. All right. In terms of commodities, we had a big run for the downside on crude oil, and I will imagine there'll be a consolidation to the upside, just because we're already seeing value breaking off this testing level. Having said that, until it will crack off this plus 0.1 deviation, we don't have certainty that there will be a reversal to the upside for crude oil. So it's still definitely like sit and wait. This is a very good supply zone around plus 0.1. Anything above, it will be for me to trade on Tuesday. Uh, this plus 0.5 deviation, not my favorite. Okay, it's a very, very, very thin. There is no immediate structure to the left. So definitely plus 0.5 deviation, not my favorite. Bypass it for tomorrow. If value will continue going sideways and then have another consolidation to the downside, definitely not this plus this negative zero point 0.5 deviation level for me. Definitely this negative 1 deviation level, it's a very interesting level for me to enter a trade and possibly wait for field box and monitor the field box to the upside tomorrow. Okay, on gold we also add a movement to the downside. Following, we have a movement to the upside and then a consolidation to the downside. We have good structure on both directions. Okay, and if value is going to go to the upside, definitely this plus 0.1 deviation, it's like almost to dream of. Okay, you have this big testing level coming right there around 9 o'clock and 11 o'clock. Look, this is really good level to run. Of course, you have to wait until value uh, makes it down and shows you start forming a lower highs, then you can consider enter. Okay, again, always around 11 o'clock. Okay, no, not too early in the morning, as again, it's also discovery day also for our commodities. Okay, if it's gonna go to the downside, what I see here is really that past the negative zero point 0.5 deviation level, after breaking off these test line, this test trending line, uh, definitely this negative 1 deviation might not hold. Uh, it might not hold value, so we just have to stay patient and wait until as low as you can get, and then possibly do it out of the money. And depends how cheap it gets. If you have anything good opportunity at this negative zero point 0.5 deviation for a possible rebound, definitely it'll be a good idea. Again, you can do it also to negative zero point 0.1. Maybe you can do a partial. You can do a 5 position plus 2 position. So you'll capture 5 position on the rebound on negative zero point 0.1, and then 2 position all the way to negative zero point 0.5. Okay, so I believe this is all for our indexes. One last very, very, very quick note on Euro and Euro USD and USD GPY. We also here had some very, very good movements last week surrounding what is now R1. Okay, on our Fibonacci levels. We also have these two testing line where we're seeing now value sorting of trying to pull back from the previous swing, and what is expected is for value to make it all the way to R1. Now, is there any certainty? No. If there be a certainty, we'll be all millionaires, right? So definitely what I see here is there is some supply sitting there, so this definitely will be a really good place for you to sell tomorrow. Okay, and let's see at what time we're gonna have this kind of consolidation. It's not necessary. If it moves to the downside, definitely for me it will be I wouldn't have any trades plan, even if this S1 level coincide with a 50% retracement from Fibonacci. I would definitely sit and wait, because tomorrow again is a discovery day and anything can happen. Same concept as ES and Nasdaq. At the end of the day, possibly do a weekly after identify the possible trend for the week, and of course again something really low cost, something that will be um, much more rewarding than costly. Okay, on USGPY, we're right about equilibrium right now. There's really nothing we know what can happen tomorrow, if value is going to make it all the way to R1 and possibly a little higher. you have this supply zone. If you have anything moving to the downside, you have that demand zone. Definitely you have around R1 and S1, and a little bit below and a little bit above. Very, very, very good target levels for resistance and supply. Okay, this is really all for today. I hope that this video is gonna help you tomorrow trading, and we'll regroup on Tuesday. Again, thank you very much for following this video, and we'll see you tomorrow.